Okay, let's see. Just, yeah, give me a moment too. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's start.
So, hi everyone. My name is Xuanwen, and today my topic is the wave particle duality of light. So, probably you may think that it could be too physical or too mathematical. So, just relax because this is a 7-minute presentation. All I want to do is to simplify the concepts and give you a talk more like an introduction to the optics. So, let's start this question. When it comes to light, what can you think of? Absolutely, you can look up at the lights and definitely you can see it. But can you touch it or smell it? Maybe at this time you may ask, what is light? Or is it a kind of matter that really exists? I'm sure you will come up with many questions like these when coming across with the concepts of light. So for many years, actually, there have been debates on the issues about the characteristics of light among many famous scientists. So the light could be a wave, or it could be a particle. In 1655, a famous scientist, Robert Hooke, was one of the supporters of the wave theory of light. His point is that the propagation of light is very similar to that of water. So actually, this his point of view is very easy to understand and also very intuitive as well with your imagination. However, another famous scientist, I think everybody knows him, is Isaac Newton. He thought that light is a kind of particle that is generated by a light source and propagates at a certain speed in the homogeneous medium. So the homogeneous medium is a kind of medium that keeps it the same everywhere inside. So who do you think is correct? Any ideas? Yeah, please.
Right one.
Right one?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Both two.
Both two. Okay. Well, let's keep this question in mind for a while and take a look at a famous experiment. So, in the point is the Young's double slit experiment. You can see in the picture the light source. Usually we use the laser beam. Passes through the two thin parallel. These are the two thin parallel slits, and is observed on the screen on the right. And you can see the bright and dark bands on the screen. So we call these special effects the interference of light. And what's more, these characteristic of light strongly support the wave theory. However, the double slit experiment has much more to tell us. Let's turn to this view. Someone did the double slit experiment using electrons. He controlled the number of electrons that reached the screen. And what we can see is that when it turned the number of electrons to a certain level, you can see the single particles randomly distributed on the screen. Actually, this is very different from what you saw in the former slides. but hold on. When we increase the number of electrons that can reach the spring, the magic appears. So here, maybe to C, D, and E, you can see the brighter and the darker bands appear again on the spring. So could you tell me what this means? Well, actually the bright part of the spring shows that there is the higher probability that the particle arrives at the site, while the dark part shows a lower probability. So this actually illuminates the wave characteristic of particles in C, D, and E, and it illuminates the particle characteristic of light in A and D. Comparing with the phenomenon, this actually indicates the particle characteristic of light and the wave theory as well. Scientists call each particle of light a photon. So actually things becomes more interesting now. You can see this is a GIF of the Young's experiment. So in later researches in the 19th century, Maxwell found the electromagnetic characteristic of light after calculating the speed of electromagnetic wave with these famous equations. And this actually gave the electromagnetic characteristic of light. Then, in the early 20th century, the famous scientist Planck actually built a bridge between the wave theory and the particle theory by introducing the Planck constant. And very soon, Einstein's theory of electric effects shows more about this. So this is briefly we can say the light have both particle and wave characteristic of light. We call this the particle wave duality of light. So any questions? Please.
So how can we apply this theory into the biomedical area?
Oh, I mean the biomedical area. So in my lab, we do super-resolution microscopy. So it is a very excellent application actually to the theory of optics. So these are the contains a lot of basic concepts of optics. Maybe we do not apply these concepts directly to our researches, but these things are the fundamentals of our researches that we will rely on directly maybe or indirectly. Any other questions?
No one else? What was that you said I was writing a lot of notes. What was that you said in the beginning that you wanted us to kind of think about and then you would come back to it? Do you remember near the beginning you mentioned something that was like you wanted us to think about? What was that question?
Yeah. So actually when you think about what light is and whether the light is kind of a particle that really exists, I want to inspire your interest to the optics. So for the first question, I think I have mainly talked about in this presentation,
Right.
and maybe you may be curious about the second question. So does a photon, let's say, or the light is a kind of matter that really exists, and does it has its own mass? So in the scientific researchers, we got to know that the photon, when doesn't have the static mass itself, but when it it moves at a certain speed, it will has a very it will have a particular mass based on some mathematical and physical relations.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll give an easy explanation of optics.
This question is.
Well, I think this is the main point. I think, I mean, 99% of people here don't understand what's optics.
What's optics? Optics, in my point of view, is a very brand subject in the physical area, which related to the studies of light and the characteristics of light. And the most important thing is the applications of these theories to many physical and or maybe other like she said the biomedical engineering areas. So I think maybe if you can be more your question could be more specific, I can talk to you more about this.
Okay, I guess we're out of time for Q&A. That's all of it.
Okay. Thank you.
So that question is like kind of a big question.